I'm Stan Grant, I'm a journalist. I'm a Wiradjuri Gamaroi Dharawal First Nations person from Australia. I've covered conflict all around the world, and I've really focused on those questions about what are human rights and how is our world ordered and how do we bring peace and justice to our world. I think it's really important for this centre to bring people together. It's important for this centre to be able to have this dialogue. It's important that we sit and share space with each other. We live in a world where we're increasingly disconnected, a world of technology that should bring us closer together but keeps us further apart. We know that the news and social media have become so toxic. We know that politics has become so much about conflict. To share space, to be able to hear each other's stories, to have that human touch is where change begins. Centres like this, for sport and human rights, are a place where we get to ask hard questions. And if we don't have organisations like this, we don't have change. Unfortunately, organisations like this, centres like this are necessary to keep people honest. Organisations, big bureaucracies, big sports organisations can so easily become so distant from the public, from athletes, from the communities they're meant to serve. And centres like this remind big organisations of their responsibilities. The panel that I was on reminded me once again that we have to open up our veins. We have to open up our hearts for people to hear us. It's not easy. It's incredibly painful to have to share intimate things. The treatment of our people, the experience of racism, death. So many people on our panel talked about death, the experience of death in our families as a result of the societies and the systems that we live under. You know, these are really hard things for us to talk about, but they're necessary because it's only through sharing that pain that someone might hear. And unfortunately, it falls to the most powerless. We are the people without power. For power to hear us, they must see us as human beings, and we have to bleed to be seen. I think we always return to racism. We live in a world that sadly has been ordered by race. We live in a world of racial hierarchy. We live in a world where people have experienced colonisation, invasion, poverty. We live in a world where the colour of your skin can determine how long you live. When we see people standing on the medal dais, they so often represent the most powerful countries in the world. When we see success on the sporting field, it often reflects the success and power of the countries they come from. If we are truly going to be a global world, if we are truly going to create a space in sport of justice and reconciliation and truth and honesty, we have to ask questions about power. We have to ask questions about race. We have to be brave about that. And people need to reckon with it. And people who have had power because of the colour of their skin, who inflicted powerlessness on others, have to reckon with that and accept the responsibility of that. I think race is front and centre when we talk about equity, truth, justice and reconciliation in sport.